Okay, so here's a drill that will absolutely get rid of your yips. The yips basically is nothing more than your right hand pushing the putter head through impact. Now, the yips basically comes from two sources. One of them contributes a little bit. The second one is the biggest contributor, this right hand pushing. But for number one is if you don't take the putter head the exact correct distance back, if you take it back too short, then you're going to try to add power by pushing with your right hand. So number one, you want to make sure that you take it back the correct distance so that way you can pull through impact and don't have to add extra power by pushing with the right hand. But in putting, to be as consistent as possible, you only want power coming from your shoulders. You don't want it coming from your body turning or your weight shifting. You want your body to stay perfectly still as you just putt with your shoulders. Yips is nothing more than the right hand pushing. And the right hand tends to, that's what the right hand instinctively wants to do. It tends to want to bend back and hit something. If you're going to slap somebody, you bend your right wrist back and then slap them. And if you don't train your right wrist correctly, the right wrist will do what it instinctively wants to do, and it'll try to push and hit the ball. You want to train your right wrist to actually do the opposite. As you're coming through, you want your right wrist not to push, but you actually want your right wrist to bend back through impact and pull this putter head through. So as a matter of fact, Greg Norman came up with a device called The Secret, and this was designed to go on your right wrist to keep the right hand from pushing. So you would put this on your right hand. You could use this in putting, but you can see when you have this on your right hand, this keeps your right hand from pushing. It keeps this angle in your right wrist. We can do that without this Greg Norman device. We use a thing called a wrist clicker. Now, I know that there's a thing called a hack motion. I think the hack motion runs anywhere from $300 to $700 or $800. There's also a thing on Amazon called a tactic, which I think is about 25 bucks. It's very similar to this. This is similar to that, but it's just a wrist clicker. If you go to Amazon and you do, search for wrist clicker golf training aid or training device, you get two of these. So very affordable. These are nothing more than metal tape measures. They cut them and they sew fabric on them. And when you bend this back, it makes this clicking sound. So what we're going to do is we're going to train this right wrist to not push through impact, actually to do the opposite. We're going to get this unclicked. We're going to keep this slight flat or curled right wrist. I'm going to put this left hand behind, keep this flat or curled, and on the way through, I'm going to bend my right wrist back and get that to click on the way through. We're training the right wrist not to push, but to bend back through impact. So I'm going to get this to unclick, keep this right wrist flat or slightly curled, keep a slight curl in my right wrist, keep a slight curl in my right wrist. So we'll say for a 10-foot putt, we're going to take it back about 6 inches, and I'm going to bend this right wrist back on the way through and get this to click. So we're just going to putt with our shoulders, take it back, and I'm going to bend my right wrist back and get that to click through impact. Now, if you practice that, say 4 or 5 times, you can take this wrist clicker off and then train your right wrist to do the same thing, but it's the same thing without the wrist clicker on your right wrist. You're going to take it back the correct distance, and then on the way through, we're going to feel this left wrist curl and this right wrist bend back. So we're going to keep a curl in the right wrist. You're going to bend this right wrist back instead of push with the right hand. That will absolutely get rid of your yips.